According to exclusive Ipsos polling for Global News, Pierre Poilievre's Conservative Party would receive 37% of the decided vote if an election were held tomorrow. That's up 4 points since February. Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party would garner 32%, down 1 point since February. The NDP would take 16%, down 2 points. Roughly 1 in 10 Canadians say they are undecided about who they'd vote for.
This is the first time we've really seen, in our polling at least, the Conservative Party open up a significant lead over the Liberal Party. We now have them leading the Liberals by 5 points. We haven't really seen that in years. I mean, basically back to before the 2019 election. So this is a significant development, I would say. We'll have to see if it endures over the longer period, but this is the type of lead that leads to changes in government. There's been an accumulation of issues with this government. Foreign interference, obviously playing a role, getting a lot of prominence in terms of public discussion, but really it's more of the way that Canadians are feeling these days about things that are actually happening in their own homes and in their own lives. And there's a great deal of concern about the cost of living in this country. There's a great deal of concern about the cost of affordability of housing. And there's also a lot of concern about issues like healthcare. And all of these issues, people do not necessarily feel they're making progress. And they're looking to the government for leadership on this. And in spite of the government, announcing various things, it's really not finding its way through to Canadians. So as a result, there's a lot of frustration in these numbers. Well, typically the places that we see in play in national election campaigns are places like British Columbia and Ontario. And what we're seeing in this poll at the moment is that Conservatives have a pretty good lead in British Columbia. They're tied now in Ontario. A tied situation means that the Conservatives are probably leading in the 905, which is that belt of seats around the city of Toronto, the car commuting suburban communities. And if the Conservatives are winning there, that decides elections. So in the last couple of elections, 3 elections, the Liberals won the 905. If the Conservatives are now challenging there, that's a big problem for the Liberals. Well, younger Canadians are among the most frustrated Canadians, and they're among the ones that are looking for change. And they may not be as attached to some of the older party labels or what existed in the past as they are maybe in terms of the emphasis of the level of concern that's being expressed by somebody like Pierre Poilievre. So, younger Canadians are really upset about the affordability issue, particularly when it relates to housing and the cost of living in their day-to-day lives. And the one who's mirroring that level of frustration is Pierre Poilievre, and that may be catching some support among younger Canadians. Do I expect that the Conservatives will win the majority of younger Canadians in the next election campaign? That would be a real stretch. But he's certainly doing a bit better with them than either Andrew Scheer or Aaron O'Toole was able to do with them. Yeah, lower income Canadians tend to be more split between the Liberals and the NDP. That's where the NDP really has its impact among lower income Canadians. Higher income Canadians are a perplexing group. You can be a higher income Canadian and be voting Conservative, or you can be a higher income Canadian voting Liberal. The difference between the two of them tends to be education. So if you've gone to university, the likelihood that you're voting Liberal is much higher. If you went to community college, or say, for example, you're a self-starting person who started their own business and is earning a higher level of income, maybe a tradesperson who's earning a higher level of income, more likely to vote for the Conservatives.